Welcome to Your Inspired Journey. I'm Carla Andrews, and I have the wonderful pleasure of being here with Heather Burright. She is a fantastic coach who is the founder of Skill Masters Market. She focuses on learner-centric type of learning and training, and really is going to give us a great way of understanding that, especially helping when she's helping nonprofit, why it's important to connect with your who, your why, and really her message of keep positivity in your life. Welcome, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today, Carla.
I'm so glad that you're here, Heather. I know we, talked just a little brief, just a little on the short end of the conversation, but I know there's a lot going on with you how you're impacting nonprofits, how you're helping others, how you're coaching others. But we really want to know about Heather. Can you tell us a little bit of how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. I first off am a working mom. I'm a wife, and I am a business owner and a career coach. So just a few like bullet points there about me. But I have about 15 years of experience in, I like to say, the people side of organizations. So I define that as the fun side of HR, so the non-compliance side. I don't deal with employment law or compensation and benefits or anything like that. I focus mostly on the people and how do we create the environment and the opportunities that are needed for people to thrive at work. And then I also do career coaching to help women find the right positions so that they can really thrive as well. My last so quote unquote corporate role was at a national nonprofit. And while I was there, identified the competencies, and that's kind of a fancy way of saying soft skills or leadership skills. I identified the competencies people needed to be successful throughout their career, from that first level, part time, frontline staff person to the C suites of the organization, and then helped HR leaders hire, onboard, and develop those staff with those competencies in mind. And as part of that, I was able to lead coaching initiatives there, and just fell in love with the idea of coaching and the impact that you're able to have and the breakthroughs that people have when they're experiencing coaching. And so I started my own consulting business in May. And when I did, I'm primarily focused on working with small to mid-sized organizations and nonprofits to help them with the people side of their organization. But I knew when I started that consulting business, I also had to wrap in this career coaching piece, because it's so important for women to feel clear about what their career paths are, what their options are, and confident that they can go after those career paths.
Now, I loved how it's great that you're helping women and specifically nonprofits and small organizations with their career coaching. But you mentioned there were like different areas of HR. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. There's actually this. I think this is might be a little known secret. There's actually quite a few areas in HR, and so you will find, recruiters. You will find people who focus on compensation and benefits, and even within that, they might focus on specific things related to compensation and benefits. You will find people who sometimes focus on wellness, and that can be separate from part of the benefits. People who focus on training. Um, Gosh, I'm running out of ideas here, but there are all kinds of different specialties within the HR field.
No, you were mentioning about like say the compliance. There were compliance part, the HR part, the onboard part, the skill set part. I mean, there seems that with HR, you're saying that there's like different brackets where you were located. Because sometimes people may think of HR just being HR, but there's
Hmm.
actually different areas in HR.
Right, right.
Fantastic. So, and then you took that information and you brought it, your skill set, and then you brought in career coaching in that
Yeah.
organization or after you left the organization.
I did some piloting of it before I left the organization. I coached people within the organization, but it was more for their own development or their next career move within that organization. So not necessarily a career change so much as a job change or a career advancement. And while I was there, I was piloting kind of on the side some career coaching for women who were looking to change careers altogether. So potentially enter a new industry or do something completely different. And then when I started my consulting business in May, I formally started that career coaching program as well.
So it's a more of a transitional type of coaching?
It is, yeah. I focus solely on the career discovery process. So, how do you know what will really keep you fulfilled in your career? And so, I work with a lot of women who they want a career change, but they don't know exactly what that would look like. It's unclear. They're not sure, not confident that if they made a change, it would be any better than where they are now. They're not sure they would be any good at something different. They don't necessarily want to start from the bottom and work their way back up. They don't want to spend more money on a degree when they already have a career in a certain area. And so there are just a lot of doubts and fears that tend to come up when a woman feels like she might want a career change. And so my process really helps identify what is your life vision? What are the things that you really want and value in life? So, really, not even thinking about your career at first, but thinking about your whole life because your career should fit into your life. So, what are the things, your relationships, your parenting, your finances, your geographic location? What are those things that you envision for your life? And then we can zoom in on the career piece and say, okay, let's walk through day by day from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Are you waking up to an alarm or are you waking up on your own? Are you getting up early? Are you sleeping in late? Are you having a hot breakfast or are you eating, a granola bar in your car on the way to work? Are you leaving your house to go to work or are you leaving your bedroom to go to work? And so if we start to get into those very specific things, we can start to identify what your life vision is and then zoom in on the career piece. And that is, I have a sort of a three-piece approach to career discovery. And the life vision is that first piece that I often walk through with women.
So from the life vision, and then from life vision, connect them to what career choices they have or the skill sets, or like, I know there's a lot
Yeah.
of
So
clarifying questions.
yeah, it's a huge process of inquiry. So we can start to also look at what you're doing while you're at work. And again, knowing that it still might be a little bit vague, like what career path you might choose, but we can say things like, are you working collaboratively? Are you working independently when you envision this ideal life? Are you working at a computer or are you standing in front of a room? Are you leading meetings? Are you working with data or are you being creative? And so we can get some of those pieces together to start to frame that vision of what a career path might be for you. And then
Okay.
I like to incorporate values as a next step, a next piece to really identify what are those things for you that make you tick. What makes you tick? What ticks you off? Those are those are my key questions there. We want to know where you get your energy, right? So the things that make you tick, the things that give you energy are things that you want to lean into. And then the things that drain you or frustrate you, those are the things that we want to move away from. And as you start to answer those questions and go through that process, you can start to see what things you value and how that applies to your career. So, for example, if you value stability, which is one that often comes up for women, if you value stability, a startup might not be the place for you because a startup, while there are a lot of great things about working at a startup, it's very agile, it's very innovative, things are always
Hmm.
changing, and it might not provide that stability that you're looking for. And so really identifying what are those things that, where do you get your energy? What are those things that really give you what you need? And then how do you align your career to those values?
Nice. And so when it comes to working with those who are looking to make the transition, it's great that you're involving all of those different areas, not only into a person's like personal development or their skill sets, but it's great to hear that you're focusing on different areas of how the business is or wherever they're trying to lead to, that doesn't impact, where they end up. So yeah, you're right. Being a startup, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of not only transitional, but a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes in a startup.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it makes sense to find out, okay, if I'm really looking for that stability, I may need to find a place that's more in a space where they've already have all their procedures in place, their processes and everything. So that makes perfect sense. Awesome.